Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monique. If you are new, please do not forget to subscribe below. I would really appreciate it. And if you love this video, give it a thumbs up. Today I wanted to share with you guys how I painted my kitchen. This is what the kitchen looked like before it was painted. I thought it was absolutely disgusting. the tiles on the wall was, oh my god, ugly. And they literally matched the cabinets the way the cabinets were before they were painted. And I lived with that kitchen and then with the green countertop as well. Yeah, it was a strange combination. Lived with it for quite a few years and then decided that I was going to paint it. I think my biggest concern really wasn't about the the cabinets. It was about the walls, because the walls were all tiles. It was tiles everywhere. They tiled everywhere. And I think that kind of concerned me, because we didn't want to kind of break the tiles off the wall. We wanted to paint the tiles the way they were. So to start off with the cabinets, which were the first things that we did, I just use we use Zenza primer and then use the Zenza paint on it. It's been holding up for quite a few years now and they are still as good as new. Honestly, you won't even be able to tell that the cabinets were painted. They look so beautiful and still very white. I absolutely love the way they turned out. I just used a foam roller to paint it with and they came out beautifully. At some point we tried the spray, but it was a bit tricky, so we just stuck with painting the cabinets. It took 2 days to paint all the cabinets. It was quite a chore to do. So if you want to do it, I'm not gonna lie, it's a project, but it's a project that pays off huge, because to change your kitchen costs an awful lot of money. So it's if you can paint it, it makes perfect sense. And then for the countertops are still the same. I researched a lot and decided to do the marble countertop, but I kept my existing green countertop. And then the first thing that we did was we painted it. I think the first color was white, and then I went over it with, no, the first color was gray, and then I went over it with some white. There are loads and loads and loads of videos on YouTube teaching you how to do this. So went over it with some white, with a sponge, and then with a feather, and just to create the marble effect and some glitter. And then on top of that, we added epoxy on top of it. It was, I enjoyed the whole painting it marble. The bit that was unbelievably nerve-wracking was the epoxy glue, because I've never used it before. And the first time I did it, it didn't quite set, so I had to redo it again. But it's held up. Also, I think it's really, you see all these things on YouTube and you're not particularly sure whether they hold up to what they do them for, when you do them, and I think I'm just trying to say it does work, and I use my kitchen every day, all day. I use a scrubber on top of the kitchen counters and they still look just as good as new. I use the same scrubber on top of for my kitchen cabinets to keep them clean, and they still look just as good as new. So it really, really has held up. And I think the interesting thing for me was the walls, to paint the walls. The walls were a bit more of a nerve-wracking thing, but if you go to, I live in the UK, so if you go to places like B&Q and things like that, you will always see tile paint. It's in the store, but I have seen tiles painted and I thought they were absolutely disgusting. You might as well just leave it the color that it was. I didn't want that tile paint effect on the walls, and it's a whole wall. I mean, all of the walls were covered with tiles. I didn't want to just go and pick, I won't call the brands, that have tile paint and then just paint the tiles, because first of all, it's glossy, and it just, I've never seen one that's been done that looks right. So I didn't want to go that route. So what I decided to do was to do a little bit of research, and I came across this company, and they were really, really good. And the guy that was there, I can't remember how many times I called this guy for help, and he advised me on the kind of primer to use and the kind of paint to use So this is the paint, the primer that I use for the kitchen. You have to let it dry. I think it's 72 hours or something like that. It takes a long time to get the primer to set before you can put any color on top of it. And the primer was the deal breaker for it. So if you get the primer right, then you get it all right. So I got the primer on the wall, left it, I think it's either 48 or 72 hours, something like that, to dry. So you do 2 coats, so 8 hours in between each coat, and then you leave the last coat to dry for 72 hours. And then you put so you, after you've done the primer, any kitchen paint that you can paint on walls, any kitchen paint at all will go on the on that, and it will be perfectly fine. So any paint that says kitchen or bathroom, you can use in there. You can then decide what finish you want: satin, matte, gloss, whatever your preference is, and you just paint it like you will paint a kitchen wall. That was literally it. And when he said I could do that, I was super excited, and I went to town. Once I painted the primer, I went and found the paint that I used for the kitchen, and I painted the kitchen, and it came out so beautiful. It made the kitchen so much brighter. I made it look way bigger than it was, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, then we changed the floors as well, and because the floors initially were tiles, so to make it blend with the rest of the ground floor, we decided to redo the whole ground floor and change the floors into wooden flooring. But it came out looking so nice. I am so happy that we did this, because this was such a cost-effective way of changing your kitchen without actually changing your kitchen. It looks like a completely different space now, and you know, to redo your kitchen will cost you thousands and thousands of pounds, but this was a fraction of that price, which was really good. Yeah, so it was a long project. The whole thing took about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to finish. But in between that, well, we was work and kids and living as we do. But it took about 2 weeks to finish, 3 weeks to finish, but it was time well spent. I absolutely love the kitchen now, even with the tiles on the wall. I really love it the way it is. And with kitchen tiles, especially by the sink, you will still have to clean that, and yeah, so, and I've been doing that, and the paint is holding up nicely. Just to add that we changed the sink into this metal sink, which is what I wanted. And I wanted, initially we had a double sink. I hate double sink. I wanted one big sink that I can use effectively, and then the tap I got off of Amazon. I'll find it and I'll link it in the description bar below for you guys. So that was it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video really helpful. I just wanted to share it if you were looking to change your kitchen and you didn't have money to do that, and you thought that maybe you could try this route and see how it works out. Then give it a go. I would really advise that you do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will put the link of all the products that I use that I can find in the description bar below for you. And yeah, so if you're doing this, good luck, and I hope it comes out okay. I do not mind at all if you want to ask me any questions. Leave your questions in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.